Welcome back to Art and Culture Monday. My name is Caren Blessing, and we are here for a very important conversation in this time and age and hour, because matters of suicide prevention, and of course we cannot start from the end, so we are going to start from mental health. And I have two gentlemen with me in studio to make sure that they have helped me disseminate that particular conversation, because specifically in the country here in Kenya, there is a growing alarm over the shocking rise in the number of suicides in the country. About 500 people are actually reported to have killed themselves in the last 3 months, that is to June last year. That is more than the whole of 2020, according to the Kenyan police. The youngest person to take their lives was 9 years old, and the oldest is 76. There are 483 deaths recorded during the period, where a marked increase on the annual average is about 320 cases. This was reported by George Kinoti, who heads the Police Directorate of Criminal Investigations. He also said, "We have never recorded such a high number of suicides before, and this is not only alarming, but calls for urgent remedial measures." No reasons have been given for the increase by the Kenyan authorities, but the World Health Organization, WHO, says suicides happen impulsively in moments of crisis, with a breakdown in the ability to deal with life stresses such as financial problems, relationship breakups, and chronic pain and illness. It added that in 2019, over 77% of global suicides occurred in low and middle income countries. I want us to get there, because that is a lot of numbers. So I want us to get some perspective to it. And I have two gentlemen with me on set today. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you guys?
Hi.
Yes, how is your Monday morning, Kaji?
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's glorious. It's amazing. You know?
Amazing. I think we will start with Paul right here. I want you to say hi to guys at home. Tell us your name, tell us who you are, and after we'll dive right into the conversation.
Yes, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here for me. I always watch this show, and I've always prayed that I'd be here one day.
Thank you.
And my dream has come
prayer.
true. Yeah. So I'm super excited.
Yes.
My name is Paul Wangare.
Yes.
I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm also a motivational speaker.
Yes.
But I'm also an author. I've written 3 books.
Yes.
My first book is called Time Management for Winning Grades, just to help students value time and know that if they can maximize the time they have, they're able to excel in the academics.
Yes.
My second book, which is very close to my heart, it's called Going Beyond Excuses.
Yes.
All right. Okay. It's a book that I wrote, after looking at my journey and where I've come from up to where I am. I had so many reasons why I could have given up.
Yes.
I had so many excuses why maybe I couldn't become the person I am today.
Yeah.
And this actually, I also thought about the young people in this country who are also going through some challenges, and then they think this is the end of them.
Yes.
And they cannot make it. So that was inspiration to behind that book. My third book is called Sex and Teenagers.
Yes.
And this is a book that also is doing very well in helping our young people out there, who think that sex is everything.
Yes.
And they end up indulging and facing so many consequences that comes with of course early sex.
Yes.
It's a book actually which won an award in South Africa just last year. So it's a book that it's there to help our young people.
Yes.
So this morning I'm here and excited to share about the mental health, because this is a challenge that all of us are going through.
Yes.
And I believe that our viewers, we shall be able to bring some perspectives which shall be of help to all of us.
Exactly.
Yes.
I am looking forward to having that specific conversation with you guys. That is our first guest. His name is Paul Wangare. We have yet another second gentleman. I have seen him up and about at KUTV, specifically Rise today. So he's not a new face, but he's a new face to Art and Culture Monday. But I'm hoping we will be having him more often.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, can you please introduce yourself to our Monday gang? We'll dive right in.
Thank you, Karen.
Yes.
Blessings.
Yes.
It's a blessing to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My name is Kangondu Jr.
Yes.
I'm a counseling psychologist and also a transformational coach with Mind Care Africa, where we heal nations and transform lives.
Yes.
And it's quite a rather interesting note to be here today, and also, of course, with a lot of uneasiness with the numbers that we're hearing from the mental health records. We're losing so many people, and that's basically the reason why we are here today, to ensure that we give them hope, okay, by getting to mitigate, the causes and all that, and more so getting to look at where this is coming from, because if we don't have an understanding of the causes of suicide, then it will be so hard for us to be able to manage that. So we are here basically to help our viewers, get to understand what is mental health and what is resulting to the big numbers, the large numbers of mental health, and how we can work on them.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
One thing that I find interesting about specifically interviewing psychologists is that they keep asking the questions I have prepared and answering them even before I get to ask them, because I wanted us to start with mental health, because suicide is an end product, is a result that happens from, and in about a timeline of so many other things happening. So I want us to talk about mental health. Just start lightly. What is mental health? And then we will get to the causes of suicide.
When people get to hear about mental health, they only think about that guy in the village, in the streets, who is so untidy and not well kept. Okay, and you hear them using words like huyo ni chizi, huyo ni mwenda wazimu. But the truth of the matter is that you and I, and including our viewers, have mental health, because mental health is all about well-being, being a capacity to manage issues that you face, and also being in such a position where you're able to be productive. And in cases whereby you find yourself not being in a position to actually manage the transitions that you're going through life, then this is where mental illness comes in. So it is as a result of being incapacitated, to deal with the issues that we face on a day-to-day basis. So when you think about mental health conditions, we're talking about things like, depression, anxiety, which are mostly the ones that are quite common, basically in Kenya. Not forgetting substance abuse, which is normally a coping mechanism for most people who are going through issues. So when you talk about mental health, we should be quite okay with it, because this is something that we all have and be in a position to understand. And this is why we need to be in such a position where we have enough awareness regarding to all this, so that at least we can be able to manage the stigma surrounding this particular issue.
Amazing. I like that, because I feel like that definition puts everyone in the bracket. So mental illnesses is when you're not capable with the transitions and coping with everything that is happening in life. When you can cope with it, then you're mentally healthy. But when you cannot, then we start getting mental issues and substance abuse, like you have said. What are some of the leading causes of suicide? Let's just start from there. What are some of the causes that actually lead to suicide?
Well, that's a very good question. And when you look at what the World Bank has said, and also the WHO, that during crisis, just like I've said, is when we experience more of mental health issues. Right? And what does that mean? When poverty level is very high, then you're able to experience suicide. Right? When also we have economic, financial constraints and economic challenges, we're also able to experience that. Also, when you have maybe chronic diseases and pains, you're also able to experience the same. But also now what we're seeing, another trend which is coming in, not only just because of corona, but also corona has brought so many other challenges, come to financial constraints, come to economic hardship, but you're also seeing relationships also causing the suicide, right, where there are heartbreaks, and this person wonders, how do I heal, how do I get over this? And then they think maybe this my world revolves around this, all right, this particular person. And therefore, when they think of how to deal with the breakup, then they are not able, and then they think they have come to the end of the road. And what do they resort to? Now they resort to suicide. So those are the main. But also, like my brother Kangondu has said, also drug and substance. When people now use these drugs, and they have something they call learned helplessness and hopelessness. When now their lives reach to a point whereby they think that there's nothing good which can come out of me,
Yes.
you know, and I can never become any better.
Yes.
And then they think, no, this is the end.
This is the
and there's
only
something actually which is there with the young people. You know, when I thought of writing this book called Going Beyond Excuses, I looked at the young people in this country, you know, who are going through issues, and you know, one thing they don't understand is this: the challenges are common to humanity. Every one of us, we go through challenges,
Yes.
you know. But now, when a young person faces challenges, they think that they are the only people who are going through this, right? Just because it's not written on their face, that they think that anyone else is not going through the same.
Exactly.
You know? But everyone goes through challenges. But no, when now they have no excuse. They have no way of dealing with it. Then we experience also that mental breakdown.
Amazing. Let us pick it from there to Kangondu Junior.
Yes.
Like, is this the reason why we need to talk about these things? Because the fact that you think this problem is unique to you kind of like leads to suicide most of the times, because you're thinking, I am the only one who is going through this. How important is talking about it?
You know, we always say that wisdom is the principal thing.
Yes.
And what I mean is that we need to have an understanding of the issues that are ailing us. Because in most cases, you find that in such a setup, the African setup, many people out there, they are not willing to come out and talk about their issues, telling you that if I don't share with my brother what I'm going through, he might think that he's the only one who is experiencing his own challenges. Okay, and this is where we do advocate for people to come or get to share about the issues that you're facing. And it's quite interesting when we hold in the group sessions, you know, we do around whereby everybody is sharing about the issues that they are facing. And at the end of it all, you ask them, is there an issue that you feel that you're so familiar with it? And many people will be like, you know, what person A, B, and C have said, this is something that I've gone through. So it's very important for us to actually be in a position whereby we create awareness on issues that are actually ailing us. And you see, the reason why we have a lot of stigma, which is also a big hindrance why many people are not actually going out there to seek support. You know, you hear people talk about that it's very expensive for you to manage the mental health conditions. But the truth of the matter is, some people don't actually know where to get this help or even who can actually be a resource to them. And this tells you that they don't understand. And this is where we actually, I'm actually very happy with what we're having with the Culture Monday, you know, getting to create awareness on the issues that are facing the people who are watching us today.
Yes, because information is power.
It is indeed.
If you do not know where to seek help, then you're left there thinking you're the only person and there's nothing that can be done to help. Yes, there is a story that was going on yesterday that made me wonder, because I thought when we say financial status is one of the leading causes to suicide, there was a man yesterday, I think that has to be in the western side of the country, who killed 2 boys and killed himself because of 150 shillings. Where do we place that? Where do we really? Because I thought when you were talking about finances, I thought it was, I don't have rent this time. Now, I'm not saying that 150 shillings is not a lot of money to a lot of people in this country. But really, I feel like there are other underlying issues, because how would you kill your 2 children and then later murder yourself for 150 shillings?
There's something that my brother mentioned, that there are those impulsive cases whereby people commit suicide and also get to act in such a way similar to the story that you have just narrated. And in most cases, you find that, yes, people may be having challenges when it comes to their finances, but there's something that we refer to as the trigger, because there are so many other underlying issues. And for such a long time, you've been bottling up your issues, and this becomes like a pressure lamp, whereby it's just waiting for that very moment for it to explode. Okay, so one case scenario like what we have, you know, someone taking away the life of his kids, you know, that he has brought to this world, you might just wonder, 100 bob, is this a reason enough? You know, we have had cases whereby even people who have committed suicide, you find that they have like 100 G's in their pocket. You know, when you go back to their bank accounts, it's just loaded. And you just wonder, is it money, or is it that there are do we have other underlying issues? Because the thing is, before one gets to that point whereby they feel like they want to take away their life, there could be a tendency to have a number of issues that have taken place. A lot of challenges could have been in existence, pre-existing conditions maybe, okay? And this is the point that we refer to as the breaking point for them, okay? And you know, we always say that a rope or even a group, anything that is connecting two units is as strong as it is weakest point, okay? So this becomes that trigger, the trigger becomes the weakest point, whereby they find themselves exploding and they end up committing that heinous act. And a lot of regret later on. And you see people will be there talking about, I wish he talked just 100 bob, I could have given him 200. But it's only that was their breaking point.
So we need to understand that it is not a straight line. It is not finances equals suicide. It is not relationship equals suicide. So does this mean like we need to constantly take care of our mental health so that we do not get to that breaking point? Because I think these challenges are unavoidable. Like losing your job has become the norm with COVID-19. Having financial issues. So it is upon us to take care of our mental health every day, like you shower every day, not because you did not shower yesterday, but to keep it clean, you need to also shower today. So keep your mental health in a state of cleanliness, washing it daily to make sure that you do not get to that breaking point.
I think that is very right and very correct. And I like the way he's saying it, that it's a trigger. What does that mean? That this person has been going through some challenges, all right? And not just 1 week or 2 weeks. These are, he has been piling them, he has been piling them for so long. And it can come from anything, from job, from relationship, from family, from job, lack of money, and all those type of triggers. But now, when he gets that opportunity to burst, where now we say in psychology that the brain has come to an end, whereby there's a blockage of the brain, and now when that person reaches that point, then he explodes. Right? And now it is actually interesting because when you look at the number of women and men committing suicide, there's a difference, right? And they say that in every 100,000 men, 9 are committing suicide. What does that mean? That yes, we have an issue, but now what he's saying that we need to talk now. It's bad. It's sad because men, and thank God we have men this morning.
This forum this morning.
Yes, we don't share. We don't talk about our issues. We rarely, discuss about anything. And in fact, when you even go to those joints where you say no, men go and they take a bottle and they talk. They never talk in the aspect of me. They say that they say that person, you know what he's going through. They never personalize that issue. It's not about me, right? So I think it's a very good point whereby now we, as a people, we ask ourselves, where did the rain start beating us? Because the moment we speak, it's the starting point of healing. And I like the way you said, 50% of the issues, you're able to sort them out. Just the moment you open your mouth and admit and say, by the way, no matter how people view me as so strong, I think I need help. An issue. And in fact, you don't even have to you can seek professional. It is very good, right? But also in that merely of talking to your friend.
That person who is next to you, that colleague at work. Now that you have brought up the men's issue, as I was doing my research and reading it to you, it is true that 9 men out of every 100,000 men are committing suicide. Men are generally taking their lives in Kenya because of the warped understanding of what it is to be a man. An African man guards up his feelings because he fears that the repercussions in a society that has taught that men do not cry. How do we disseminate that? Because we have had this conversation for so long. You are men, you are psychologists, you are professionals. What do we do with our men?
There's a lot of stereotyping when it comes to how men should conduct themselves. In fact, we're working on a book on the same, or how to become a man enough, someone who is actually well balanced. Because in most cases, we find that men are not really balanced. And that's why you're having so many issues in regards to mental health. And you see, from long time immemorial, since time immemorial, men have been told that you should not show your emotions. In case you cry, you're a sissy, and in case you just talk about the challenges that you're facing, then that means you're a weakling. And this is why we need to change the narrative. I've always said that be observant, see what happens around you. The way we treat a 2-year-old girl, it's not exactly the same way that we treat a 2-year-old boy. For a boy is wewe kwenda huko, wewe akianguka mtoto haufai kulia, mwanaume anajikaza kama mwanaume. And you see, it's quite unfortunate that we molding the girl child in such a way that there's a lot of tenderness, there's a lot of care, and for the boy child, it's completely opposite. Yet, this young boy is the one who is going to marry this girl. Okay, so do you think there will be a balance? No. And this is where we need to change the narrative from the time that we're raising these kids from a tender age. Back in talk about the baby class, the PP1 and all that. At home, we need to instill these values, telling them that it's okay for you not to be okay. It's for you to show the emotions. And you see, that's the reason why most of us, and especially our fellow men out there, don't ever speak about the issues that they are facing. Even if they had a beating, from their wife at night, they'll come to the workplace smiling, and they'll be like, unajua mimi ndiye ndume. Yet they didn't even have sleep, okay? And this is where we need to actually create safe spaces for men to actually express themselves and talk about the issues that they're facing. When you look at the numbers, it's quite sad. Yes, women do attempt more, when in regards to the suicide, but the ones that are complete are more to men, because men are a bit lethal, and you have taught them to be a bit, aggressive, by nature, and that tells you anything that they attempt, it will be very aggressive.
So when they actually attempt, the chances of success are higher than in women.
A lady would just take Panadol, but for the man would be like, that's just a small thing. I need something, I'll go to the KICC at the top and throw myself, so that at least I will make a name out of myself. Alikufa kutoka wapi? And you see, this is so wrong, and this is why we need to have a better understanding in regards to mental health and actually provide a safe space for all of them.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you so much. I like that we are talking about men and women. I like that women speak up. Congratulations, women, for speaking up. They do speak up a lot. Before someone attempts suicide, probably their best friend knows someone. Someone knows. Exactly. The chama knows. I mean, there are banks out here. The last time we had this conversation about men and women, we were even asking how many men's only banks do you know? Yet men are they're the financial strongholds. But how many? We have all types of women chamas and banks left, right, and center. So it's about time we stop that stereo or change the narrative. Of that.
I feel, let me come in there. I feel that we are very happy. As psychologists, we have men who come to us in our offices and they speak to us, and we congratulate that kind of a man. Who admits that yes, I have a problem and I need someone, a professional, to listen to me and help me to find my way out. Right? So we congratulate that man. And we also wish every other man can be able, if you feel that you're ashamed, you don't want to talk to your boys, then look for that professional, look for that confident, that person you can trust. But again, now, since now men, they are there, and we shall not stop saying this. We shall continue, right? But then we need to start from the young boys. Me and Mr. Kangondu, we are doing a lot, to our young people. We go to schools, to boys' schools, and you're able to speak to them and to tell them that it is okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to show emotions, because unless now we start nurturing them from there, it will be very, very sad. Like yesterday, I was at Gedhumu Boys, and I was speaking to those boys, and I was telling them, yes, you're a man, and nothing will change you becoming a man. It do not change. You just admit and say that I have this problem, and I need someone to come on board, and to help me. That will only make you safer, and also be there for the family.
And even in the long run, make you a better man. Because when you have your affairs together, in the long run, you become the better man. Because now, in the long run, if you do not take care of that, either way, you come out weak to the society. Because once you have committed suicide, what is strong about committing suicide? I want us to go on, because we could talk about men. That is a whole entire topic. But what are some of the suicidal signs to watch out for? Like, what are some of the things that you can see? Because we have family members, we have friends who we should be able, audiences watching at home should be able to look at, and they're like, I think I need to talk to them, because sometimes all you need is to ask them what's up, and they will tell. So what are some of the signs that we should get to watch out for?
And I feel that's very important for us, because in most cases you hear many families, many friends talk about, I never saw it coming. Okay, and it's quite unfortunate, because we are never present. We are always thinking about the future, or even about the past, what has been happening. And when you get to ask me, what is Paul, how was he presenting himself today, really will I be able to pick that.
He even came for an interview.
For an interview.
We didn't know.
We didn't know, and this is why we say that for someone who is attempting suicide, actually they don't want to die. You know, in most cases, they just want to run away from the pain that they're experiencing. Yet they forget that when they get to lose their life, that is an opportunity that has been lost to make things better. So when you hear someone talk about death, you know, this is I'm planning about, you know, a will, a future, you know, what will happen if I was not here with you today, you know. They start giving away their valuables, you know. Probably this is something that they hold so dearly to them, maybe a vehicle or even a house, and the next minute they have given that away. There are some people who actually even get to, you can look at the marks, you know, their wrist, you know, the self-harm, you know, this will be telling you that something is amiss. There are some other people who even get to stop taking care of themselves, you know, they withdraw from you. And this is why we need to be so present with our friends. When you see them disappear, don't say that they're just ignoring you. You know, it's good that you get to dig deep and get to understand where is this coming from, okay? There are some who actually talk about it and tell you that, you know, I'm just tired about this life. I want to take away my life, you know. And, you know, many people out there, and especially on the social media, they'll be asking you, unataka kujua kwa njia ipi nitakununulia kamba, meza wembe, unajua. And we are so rude and we are not kind to them because this is somebody who is actually calling for help. So there are some people also become so careless. You may find somebody who is engaging in some careless sexual act, you know. They're just sleeping with every other person, you know. They're not protecting themselves. Probably it would be careless driving, you know. They're also drinking so carelessly, you know. Substance abuse. And you're like, well, this guy, he's not okay. For us, we might maybe label them to be indisciplined, you know. And this is where we're saying that we need to share compassion with the people around us. Be in a position to understand what is happening. Be on the lookout on some of these things.
It's because I feel once we are aware, we can be able to contribute to the prevention. Because others tell you outright, they type it on Facebook and they are a friend of yours, and you are telling them meza wembe and everything, thinking that it is actually a joke. So we need to watch out for these things. Now we have seen like about 450 people have committed suicide 3 months towards June this year, which is more than what happened the entire of last year. What has happened? What has happened with COVID that is, you know, surging up these numbers?
I feel COVID, this was not, it was unexpected, you know. For example, let me give you a good narrative. Someone who was employed and he was making a whopping 100,000 per month. Right? So this person, because the money was a lot, you know, they never thought of investing. And they always think that even if I spend all of this money, next month I'll still have 100,000.
Exactly.
Right? So these people are living big. They are living in an estate which is very expensive. They are driving a big car which is a Gaza. Right? And then all of a sudden the job comes to an end. Right? So where does this person start? They have no savings. Right? And then there is even loans they're supposed to pay. There is rent they're supposed to pay. Where does their life start from that point? Right? So this is what now is bringing that, and we have seen this all across. Right? That people are going through stresses. Right now, look at last year, kids were sent back home, and a father and mother, they have lost their job. Right? So how do you deal with this? And these kids are requesting food, they are asking for food, they must eat, there are bills to sort. How do you deal with this? Right? Then of course, even those who don't have kids, those who maybe who are dating or newly married, you know, there are complications in the relationships. Right? One is stress because of the other thing, and the other person, no. So there's a lot of that COVID has triggered in our society today, and that's why we are able to see that there is surge in suicide. And
so the sudden halt that was brought by COVID-19 to lifestyle. But then, Kangondu, wouldn't you say that we needed to sort those habits, because something other than COVID will always happen. This has happened to all of us, but minus COVID, things happen every other day. You are fired for no reason. So should we get our lives back together? Because I think that you need to be back here for us to talk matters financial management.
Absolutely.
Because the fact that you're talking, you're getting 100K a month, you're living from paycheck to paycheck, that's already, like, that is already a problem. Like, if you had sorted that, then COVID wouldn't probably have hit as hard. Of course, it hit, but it wouldn't have hit as hard as it did. So what is the solution to that? Because now we can't stop COVID. COVID is here. What is the solution?
COVID is here with us, like you're saying. Yeah. And there was a lot of disruptions that took place when COVID came, And it is just an indicator of how it came to expose there's so many broken systems that are around us. And that tells you that you already have the issues even before COVID came, okay? Because in most cases, like in the family setup, yes, we had an increase by like 35% of the domestic violence cases, and like you're saying, with the numbers of suicide, they went high. You know, that's quite a high percentage. You know, and the World Health Organization is telling us that in every 40 seconds we lose in one person. So that tells you that the issues were there. But then with the COVID, it came to amplify the whole situation by exposing those broken systems. And this is why we say that we are never prepared. We never prepare for the unforeseen, you know, incidences. And it's a true indicator of how our retirement to be like. You know, you're back home with your wife. The children have already left the nest. Okay. And if you have not made good plans, you know, these will actually affect you in a big way. If you are not friends with your spouse, with your family members, don't think that time it will be a walk in the park. Okay. So that tells you that for us to prepare for the unforeseen cases, scenarios, it's good that we start now. Yes, a lot has happened. Many people have been affected, but we always say that a second is a second chance. Okay, for us to actually amend our lives, to do things differently. And when you talk about the disrupted routines that we have had, it's a high time that we get well organized, you know, getting to think about how it would be like. And you see, when they say that failing to plan, that is actually planning to fail. It is so true. And this is where we actually need to put our houses in order. And if you're a couple, it's good that you get to ask yourselves what is good for us. If you are alone, you know, it's good for you to ask yourself what is good for me, you know, in case a similar situation finds me, you know, how am I going to handle that? Then it's very important for us to also have some healthy coping mechanisms, because what we have seen, many people actually don't have healthy coping mechanisms. So when you face challenges, this is the people who are going out there, you know, drinking. One for the road becomes two for the road. And like a good friend of mine called David says, you know, you take a drink and eventually the drink takes you, you know, so you end up losing it all. So planning is very important for us, and being in such a position whereby we have healthy coping mechanisms through the support of counselors like Paul and I, and also life coaches who are out there can actually come along in such a big way for you in such a plan. Yes. I
want us to bring it home to how to cope, because you have brought it. I told you, interviewing psychologists, we were always ahead of you. We wanted to bring it home and talk about coping mechanisms, because I feel like those are important. And I want to ask Paul specifically, what is the importance? Can we talk about the importance of taking a break wherever you are at, and the difference, because that's a very thin line between a break and laziness, because some of us are out here having a break throughout their life. But when do you tell yourself, this is now time to take a break as a coping mechanism? Let's just handle taking a break, and then we will go to other coping mechanisms, and then talk about healing for people who have experienced, cases of suicide. So how
taking
important?
A break, it's very crucial. It's very key. And taking a break can be in a relationship, all right? It can be in workplace, all right? Because the people who are workaholic, they work throughout, all right? It can be even from the business, the business of life, that sometimes once in a while you tell yourself that I need to take myself out. I need to go to rest. What in psychology we call it burnout, when you overwork, when you have experienced the same thing over and over and over and over again, and it's become monotonous, you experience burnout. Now the risk of burnout is whereby you are not able to be productive anymore, all right? And you reach to a point your brain is unproductive. The life becomes boring, all right? So taking a break, it kind of replenishes you, it gives you new energy, it gives you new life. Right, so it is very, very important when things are very tough. Right, it's always good to ask yourself. For example, me and Kangondu knows, that maybe I don't work throughout. Sometimes I will go to a place, a very silent place, and I'll sit down and I'll meditate. I will call myself for a meeting, and then I'm able to ask myself, what is not working? What then do you need to do? Because until you do that, you're not able to have clear perspective about where you're going to do. Number two, about taking a break or having that rest, right? It also gives you, like I said, new energy. You know, it gives you're able to
a fresh perspective.
Exactly, you're able to actually go down and ask yourself, for the last this number of time, what has worked for me, right? What should I be able to change, right? What should I be able to do from now? And once you do that, you're able to reduce then the tension and the pressure that is built up in the brain.
Yes, and also I thought to ask, during this time that you're taking a break and you're reviewing yourself, is it good to have a plan for the break? You know, not just, you know, babe, we are going on a break, nothing is happening, you know, like have a plan for the break. And also going to talk to us about enjoying the small wins, like small, because I feel like that also leads to a lot of, you look at your life and every age mate is having a car, but just because I'm not having a car doesn't exactly mean I am a failure. So we enjoying celebrating the small wins of life. Yes, I'm not financially stable right now, but at least I have my health, because someone else is committing suicide because of a chronic disease they have. Enjoying those small wins in life.
You know, there's a lot of toxic comparison out there, whereby I just want to be like Caren, you know, the way that she presents herself, you know, the way that you choose your attire to wear and all that. I want to be like you, exactly like you. And what we forget is that we are so unique in our own unique ways, you know, and success is personal. It's never, you know, communal. You know, in most cases we think that because Paul is driving a BM, you know, that's the definition of success. And this is what I'll be striving towards, you know, forgetting that, yes, our destination is to have a good life, but the path is so different. You know, for us to get to the city, we can use so many other routes, okay? And this is where we forget to actually enjoy the small achievements that we get to have in life, you know? Just by the mere fact that you awoke this morning and you're able to get to the studios, that is actually a blessing for Caren blessing, you know? And we overlook that in so many times, you know? Having a place to sleep, you know, breakfast, you know, having a place to call workplace. That is very important. Even family itself, you know, having you sane, you know, sound mind.
Having my sanity.
That is very important for you. Yet we forget, and we want to be like the who is who, the public figures, yet forgetting that a lot of that, it could be euphoric, you know. That would be, they're living in an euphoria world, you know, showcasing for the public, because, you know, when you look at the social medias, nobody will say that last night they slept hungry.
Exactly.
You know?
No one will update that on Instagram.
Or even they're having trouble with their spouse. Unless you're a big fish somewhere, you know, talking about the separation and all that. But the common man, the common human being, you know, they'll be there showcasing the best in them. Yet we forget that this is just for the showcase, okay? And this is where we need to count our blessings one by one, every other day, you know, because I feel like every other day is a blessing for you. And you see, gratitude is very important for us. Yet at night, when you're going to sleep, we rarely do that. You know, we always say that for one negative thought, you require around 21 positive thoughts to change the whole narrative. Yet at night, you don't count your blessings. You know what has happened to you, and we do recommend just 3 of them. You know, it will be good for you.
Only
when all 3. Okay, so this is why we're saying that in most cases, the reason why people are growing hopeless, helpless in this particular setup, it's because they never get to count their blessings. Gratitude is very important for them.
So gratitude, be grateful, practice the art. And actually it is not easy. I started that sometime and I'm like, what? I thought this was easy. Can I just be grateful for 3 things? You think 3 is small until you start writing them down in your life.
Man.
This is a lot. And also another thing I got through my research is finding, like you have said, success is very personal. So find your why. Your definition, my definition of success is not Paul's definition of success. It's not your definition of success. We all want to get there. So find your unique way that makes the why. I want us to wrap up so we get to prevent how do we prevent suicide from happening? Before we get to coping, how do we prevent suicide from happening? Of course, I know we have mentioned some pointers, but for someone who is following and they are wondering, how do we prevent suicide from happening?
When you talk about suicide, in regards to mental health, it all starts at that space whereby we are creating awareness, you know, and through awareness, this is where you get to learn the techniques of self-care. Because if I don't take care of myself, then that means eventually I'm going to lose it all. You know, we are so good when it comes to servicing our vehicles. Every other, after 1,000 miles, you know, you just want to take it to the garage and it's done a whole routine, you know, a whole body checkup. But the question is, how often do we do that? You know, to ourselves, you know. The only time that you hear someone going to the hospital, and especially we men, it's when it's all, you know,
it's bad. Like
it's bad. You call an ambulance, man. And this is why we say that it all starts with us, you know, getting to practice self-care. Because if I don't take care of myself, if I don't fill my cup, you know, I cannot share with Paul. So if I don't take care of myself, then it will be so hard for me to take care of my kids, my spouse, my workmates, you know, my family members. So taking care of yourself is very important. And this cannot happen without you getting to have enough awareness about you. You know, when we talk about the emotions, we have 5 main emotions, you know, talk about the guilt, the sad, the fear, you know, happiness and anxiety, you know. How do they present themselves? They do manifest in different parts of the body. And you see, for many people actually don't know what is happening within them because they don't understand, you know, how they cope with the issues. And when you get to ask about how we manage some of these issues, some of the good coping mechanisms, how to know how to take care of these emotions. There are some things that you engage in that can actually be able to take care of this negative energy. Some people love cycling. I normally see them every other weekend along the highways, you know. Some love going for hiking, you know. That is self-care. You know, even for you taking the break that you're talking about, that is self-care. You know, just taking your time off, you know, just to relax and also unwind, you know, because we do have. It's very important for us to actually get rid of that negative energy. So the question is, what works best for you? You know, getting rid of that negative energy. And this comes in with a lot of self-awareness. Many people out there, they don't know nothing about themselves. So self-awareness, that is what we are going for. Self-awareness. I was reading a book that was saying there's a reason why it's called self-control, self-love, self-awareness. It's all about you. It starts from you. Because, and then we are so busy out here securing the bag, forgetting that if you're not there, that bag is not yours. Like, you know, so we start with ourselves. How do we deal? There are people out here, there are people who are watching that have already lost a relative, lost a friend to suicide. I recently, about a few 4-5 months ago, a friend of a friend actually committed suicide, and we wouldn't even tell the cause because you look at their life and you did not see it coming. So how do those close relatives, close friends deal with having gone through such a traumatic experience?
I think it is sad, and you can always send our condolences to all those who have lost their loved one out of suicide. But again, let us be very keen. Let us be there for one another, right? Because I believe this whoever commits suicide, it never started from there up. You know, it is from very little triggers, right? And it piles up. So what I would urge even those who are there is that if me and you know, and all of us, that let us not assume, you know, even if you're going through or whatever issue, no matter how little or minute it is, right? It's always good to work it out, you know, because when you reach to a point whereby maybe you're killing someone or this person is committing suicide, it is started from they didn't want to admit. So first is what you said, create awareness, you admit. But even those now who have been left, they should ask themselves, all right? Why did he do this? Why did she do this? All right. Could I also be a victim? All right. Because we have, all of us, you know, we are victims. You know that we have not yet committed it. Because all of us we go through stresses. So it's for them not to learn from that experience and then ask themselves, if that person was living well, they were very happy. You know, everything seems to be so good and perfect life for them, and yet they were able to commit suicide. All right. How much more then can I learn from this person to be able to prevent myself from
committing
from getting there.
I like that. So that even means there is more hope for the friends and family who are close, because they already have something to learn from and see. Yes, I'm being told our time is far much gone, so I want us to get to our final remarks. And you are a psychologist. Open doors to people out there. How can guys get in touch? How can guys reach you? But before that, can we talk to? I feel like women, we are somewhere. We are somewhere in this conversation. So let's talk to men and young people. Young people who break at the slightest provocation, slightest trigger, to tell them that life continues. Like life is not your rent. Like you will live anyway. So talk to young people, men, then wrap up.
Beautiful. We had an engagement back in Nyeri, and one of the things that you're able to discover is that it's not even the finances that is the challenge. It's only that many people out there, they don't have the coping mechanism to the life issues that they are facing. So that tells you that it's very important for us to actually instill in ourselves those life skills, life management skills, to cope with life challenges in a healthy way. And the thing is, it's okay for you not to be okay. Many people out there fear the fact that they are not okay. You know, when you get to hear someone is facing a certain challenge, they don't want to come to the light, in the light to just share the issues that they are facing. And it's okay for you to even go out there, talk to your buddies. I know you have some folks that you interact with, and it's very important for you to even express themselves. And the other thing is, you've talked about women, okay? Since you have the capacity to deal with the issues that you face on a day-to-day basis, kindly create safe spaces for your family members, your friends, and especially your male counterparts. It would be so nice for me. And it's very easy, especially if I have a female counterpart who I'm so free with, to talk about the issues, unlike with men, because there's a fear of men getting to talk behind my
Exactly. So just because your men doesn't mean that men talk to men, and women talk to women strictly.
We can actually create a safe space, and especially if it is the mother in the house, when the daddy is coming back to the house, this should be their safe space. In the midst of the challenges that they are facing at the workplace, running their this is the place that they should feel safe most. And also for the men to do the same, because these women are also facing their challenges to do the same. So we're saying that it's okay for you not to be okay, and it's okay for you to actually call for help, because there's a lot of help out there. Paul and I are here, to support you by all means. We have our offices in Thika, you can always come through, and if you want to talk to us through the, of course, you'll give his line. Mine is 0722 4500 45 0722 450045. Social medias, Kangondu Junior, or even Mindcare Africa. And in case you need to be empowered, you can go through our YouTube channel, Mindcare Africa.
Mindcare Africa. That is nice. I'm going to repeat that for you guys, so just hold on a bit. We close it with Paul.
Now, I'm so passionate about young people, and that's why I call myself youth expert, because I have done a lot of mentorship to the young people. For the last 5 years, I've spoken to thousands and thousands of students, across the country, because I do a lot of mentorship and empowerment sessions to students in schools. And one thing that I know about young people, they're the future. They are the future generation. They're the future fathers. They're the future mothers, and therefore we need to take care of them now. All right. Speaking to the, I don't know which is my camera. This one, yes. So speaking to the young people out there, no matter how life can be tough for you, all right, just know that you're able to get out of you're able to come out of it. And the good thing about challenges is that they mold you and they make you better version of you than the way you are. Exactly. When I wrote this book called Go and Build Excuses, it was out of the life that I went through, from being orphaned, and facing a lot of challenges as a young person, and to fight through and to be the person I am today. I believe there is hope for the young person out there.
Exactly.
And then we have a program with Kangondu right now, which is going on online, and we're empowering the young people. We are teaching them about life skills, and of course it just started a week ago, so they're able to come in on board and they're able to join us there.
Exactly.
And then for the boy child, man, we need to speak. You need to speak out there. We need to share our issues. And we are working with a project with Kangondu. It's called Becoming a Man, a book we are writing, and I believe it shall be a blessing to this society, and also to many people out there. So for me, you're able to find me. They have a group I call myself Shaping Destinies. So you can go to Facebook, Shaping Destinies. You are able to follow me there. If you want to come for counseling, or if you want to invite me to your school and to speak to your students or churches or whichever forum for the young people, you're able to reach me through 0715-629877. 0715-629877.
Yes.
And you're able to keep in touch. Let's keep in touch. Let's help one another.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much for that conversation. I hope that you guys have learned a thing or two, because I most definitely have. You need to look for Kangondu Jr. across social media handles. Get him. He will take care of you matters mental health, or else you can also find him at Mind Care Africa. Yes, Mind Care Africa. You will get plenty of help. Paul, you can get him at Shaping Destinies on Facebook. All right, guys, let us seek this help. This is why we have said the first thing is to talk about it, and that is why KUTV, Art and Culture Monday, Kangondu and Paul here, we are talking about it. So we have taken our first step. So go out there, look for them. Social media has brought a lot closer to you. Just look for Mind Care Africa, look for Shaping Destinies, and you will get your life sorted out. Remember, this is a continuous process. Forever you're taking care of your mental health. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It has been such a pleasure. Guys, we are taking a very short break. We will see you on the other side of the break.